Cash Patel entered the hearing room at exactly 9:47 a.m., 13 minutes early. 4 FBI attorneys accompanied him, their briefcases filled with pre-prepared answers. This was supposed to be a routine oversight meeting, or at least, that's how it appeared. But it wasn't going to be as expected. The first 2 hours were like a scripted play. Republican senators stood up and couldn't stop praising Patel. "Your tough stance against immigrant smuggling is commendable," they said. They read statistics. They talked about success stories. They spoke of him with accolades. This wasn't going to last. Democratic senators asked different questions. The removal of 1,200 counterterrorism agents, the firing of 14 senior FBI officials, the systematic denial of security clearances for agents who had criticized the Trump administration. The questions got tougher. Patel deflected every attack with bureaucratic mastery. "Personnel decisions are for operational efficiency," he said. "Ongoing investigations prevent me from providing details," he said. "National security protocols restrict me," he said. The futile struggles continued. At 11:53 a.m., Chairman Mark Warner took the microphone. Now a somewhat challenging name took the microphone. "Senator Adam Schiff has the floor." At that moment, the energy in the room shifted. Everyone knew. Schiff didn't ask questions. He asked questions he already knew the answers to, and he didn't bring files to hearings. He brought files that destroyed careers. Everyone knew this. But they also wondered how it would end. Adam Schiff was a former federal prosecutor. He had built RICO cases against organized crime networks for years. He had managed a president's impeachment process. And now he had spent 6 full weeks preparing for this exact moment. A manila folder sat on his desk, closed but visible, red classification strips on it. Everyone began waiting to see what was in this folder, and when it would enter the conversation, Patel saw the folder. His eyes slid there for just 1 second before returning to Schiff's face. But that 1 second was enough. Experienced observers caught that micro-expression on Patel's face: concern. Concern again. What else could he say? "Director Patel," Schiff began in a calm voice. That voice belonged to someone who had already won. "I want to talk about the FBI's data management practices, specifically regarding the preservation of counterterrorism materials." Patel's left hand went to his tie, a self-soothing gesture, a sign of psychological stress. Body language showed Patel was going to struggle. "Of course, Senator. The FBI has the strictest data security and preservation protocols in the federal government." "Excellent," Schiff said. And there was something in that single word everyone in the room understood. Patel had walked right into the trap. Was it a trap? Whatever it was, many questions and the answers he could give to them were racing through his mind. "So you agree that the FBI has systems in place to prevent unauthorized deletion of classified counterterrorism data? Is this a rule in your opinion?" Patel nodded. He was still confident. The confidence he would lose in 40 seconds. "Absolutely. We have multiple backup systems, strict access controls, and comprehensive audit trails. It's nearly impossible for significant amounts of classified intelligence to be deleted without proper authorization and documentation." "Nearly impossible," Schiff repeated slowly. "So if such a deletion did occur, there would be clear records showing who authorized it, correct?" "Correct," Patel confirmed. "Every action in our classified systems requires digital authentication, and these records are preserved indefinitely." Schiff opened his folder with theatrical precision. "Director Patel, are you familiar with FBI Data Management Report number DM-25847 dated November 4, 2025? The first sign of genuine concern appeared on Patel's face. His eyebrows furrowed, his mouth opened, then closed. "Senator, without seeing the specific document, I cannot comment on individual internal reports." "Let me refresh your memory," Schiff interrupted, holding up a document bearing official FBI letterhead, classification markings clearly visible. "This is an internal memorandum sent to you on November 4th by FBI Chief Information Security Officer Dr. Jennifer Martinez. Subject line: Critical Data Loss Incident Requiring Immediate Executive Attention." The room fell completely silent. Schiff began reading. his voice clear and precise. Quote, Director Patel, I am writing to inform you of an unprecedented data loss incident that occurred between November 2nd, 2025. Approximately 2.4 terabytes of classified counterterrorism data were permanently deleted from FBI primary servers using administrative override protocols that required director-level authorization. The deleted materials include 847 counterterrorism files related to foreign influence operations during the 2024 presidential transition period, 2,341 intercepted communications between foreign intelligence operatives and U.S. persons of interest, 18,492 financial transaction records flagged for FARA violations, and 673 witness statements. Schiff paused. The next sentence would have a bombshell effect, Director Patel. This deletion was executed at 2:47 a.m. on November 3rd from your office terminal using your personal authorization code FBI DHAP 7734. This represents the largest unexplained loss of classified intelligence in FBI history. Signed, Dr. Jennifer Martinez, Chief Information Security Officer. End quote. The impact was instantaneous and devastating. Patel's face went from its normal complexion to visibly pale in 3 seconds. The color drained so dramatically that everyone in the press gallery could see it. His hands began to tremble visibly. First a small tremor, then increasingly pronounced. One of his attorneys leaned in to whisper urgent advice, but Patel seemed unable to process anything. His eyes locked on Schiff. His facial expression combined shock, panic, and terrible realization. Director Patel, Schiff continued, would you like to explain why 2.4 terabytes of classified counterterrorism data were deleted in the middle of the night using your personal authorization code? Patel's mouth opened, but initially no words came out. His left hand went to his water glass. When he lifted it to drink, the trembling was so pronounced that water sloshed over the rim, spilling onto the witness table. Every camera caught this. Senator, Patel finally managed, his voice unrecognizable. I don't have personal knowledge of every technical system operation, and I would need to review the specific circumstances. You don't have personal knowledge? Schiff's voice rose with genuine incredulity. This memo explicitly states that the deletion was executed at 2:47 in the morning from your office terminal using your authorization code. Are you telling this committee that someone else was in your office at 2:47 a.m. using your credentials? Patel looked desperately at his attorneys. Senator, there could be technical explanations for how authorization codes are utilized in automated processes. Let me make this simpler, Schiff interrupted, pulling a second document from his folder. This is the FBI headquarters security access log for November 2nd, 2025. According to this official record, you personally entered FBI headquarters at 11:34 p.m. on November 2nd, accessed the director's office suite at 11:41 p.m., remained in the building with no other personnel present on the 7th floor, and exited at 4:18 a.m. on November 3rd. The data deletion occurred at 2:47 a.m. You were alone in your office when 2.4 terabytes of classified counterterrorism data were permanently deleted using your authorization code. The trap was complete and inescapable. Patel sat frozen. His face glistened with visible perspiration. His hands trembled so badly he clasped them together on the table. His breathing was audibly rapid. Senator, I may have been working late that night, but specific technical operations are conducted by specialized personnel, routine archival processes. Schiff's voice carried barely contained fury. Director, let me read you something else. Quote, this deletion utilized emergency override protocols specifically designed to bypass all standard preservation safeguards. The deleted data is permanently unrecoverable. This action required manual disabling of 6 separate backup systems and explicit confirmation at 3 separate verification points. This was not automated. This was a deliberate manual deletion requiring active human intervention at multiple stages. End quote. Schiff leaned forward. Ice cold. Director Patel, this doesn't sound routine. This sounds like someone deliberately destroyed classified counterterrorism data in the middle of the night while alone in the FBI building. I'm going to ask you one more time. Why did you delete 2.4 terabytes of classified counterterrorism files related to foreign influence operations? At 12:07 p.m. Exactly 14 minutes into Schiff's questioning, Cash Patel completely lost his composure. "Senator, this is outrageous." Patel's voice cracked with panic and desperate anger. "You're taking internal communications completely out of context and weaponizing routine procedures to create a false narrative. Let me give you context." Schiff cut him off sharply. "Let me tell you what was in that 2.4 terabytes. He pulled out a third document, counterintelligence file number CI 2024-8847, Investigation into Undisclosed Foreign Contacts by Presidential Transition Team Members. File number CI 2024-9413, Intercepted Communications Between Russian Intelligence Operatives and U.S. Political Consultants. File number CI 2024-9847, Financial Intelligence Reports on Unexplained Transfers from Foreign Entities to Domestic Political Organizations during the Transition." With each file number, Patel seemed to shrink further. "And here's the most interesting part," Schiff continued, holding up a fourth document. "This is a Witness Protection Authorization Form personally signed by you on November 1, 2025, granting emergency classified witness status and FBI security detail to Michael Flynn." The name detonated like a bomb. Michael Flynn, Trump's former national security advisor, convicted of lying to the FBI about Russian contacts, pardoned by Trump. "Director Patel," Schiff said, "Michael Flynn's name appears 47 times in the counterintelligence files you deleted 2 days after granting him FBI witness protection. So I'm going to ask you directly. Did you delete classified counterterrorism data to protect Michael Flynn and others connected to foreign influence operations?" Patel tried to stand. His chair scraped loudly. His face contorted with rage and panic. "I will not sit here and allow my integrity to be impugned with these baseless conspiracy theories." "Sit down, Director," Chairman Warner's voice thundered. Patel sat immediately, his hands visibly shaking. Schiff wasn't finished. "Let me tell you what I think happened. During the presidential transition, the FBI's Counterintelligence Division was conducting legitimate investigations into foreign influence operations. These investigations documented concerning patterns of communication with foreign intelligence services. When you became FBI director, you were instructed to make these investigations disappear. You systematically destroyed evidence to protect powerful people, and you granted Michael Flynn FBI witness protection to ensure his cooperation in keeping quiet." The chamber erupted. Schiff pulled out one final document. "Director Patel, I want to read you an email sent by FBI Deputy Director Paul Abad on October 28, 2025, 5 days before the deletion. Quote, Cash, I need to strongly advise against any action that could compromise ongoing counterintelligence investigations. The Counterintelligence Division has developed substantial evidence of FORA violations and potential espionage activities. Any interference would constitute obstruction. I am formally documenting my opposition to any proposed data modifications. Paul Abadi, Deputy Director." End quote. Schiff looked directly at Patel with cold fury. "Your own Deputy Director warned you that deleting these files would constitute obstruction. You did it anyway. This isn't data management, Director. This is obstruction of justice." Patel sat motionless, unable to respond. "I move that all documents be entered into the Congressional record," Schiff said, "and I formally request that the Department of Justice open an immediate investigation into potential obstruction of justice, destruction of evidence, and violations of federal records preservation laws." Within minutes, video clips of Patel's breakdown went viral. His trembling hands, his drained face, his inability to provide coherent answers. News networks interrupted programming. FBI director caught deleting counterintelligence files. Legal experts called it the most damning congressional testimony ever witnessed. Within hours, FBI whistleblowers came forward. The DOJ Inspector General announced a criminal investigation. Republican senators called for Patel's resignation, and the White House refused to comment. That meaningful silence that Washington recognized as preparation to cut loose a liability. Sometimes accountability just requires a prosecutor with a manila folder in hand, the patience to set an inescapable trap, and the courage to ask simple questions that have no answers. Adam Schiff had asked those questions. Cash Patel had no answers. And in 47 seconds, the most brazen obstruction of counterintelligence investigations in FBI history had been exposed. Not destroyed by partisan politics, destroyed by documented actions, and by his inability to explain why he sat alone in the FBI building at 2:47 a.m. Watch the video until the end. Tomorrow, these documents will be released to the public, and I'll be here analyzing every single page. Share this video everywhere. This conversation needs to reach everyone.